Hey guys, long time no see. Today we're releasing some major updates for all of our existing MIA add-ons and a brand new add-on as well. The MIA Japanese and MIA Dictionary add-ons have had many bug fixes, some major improvements, along with entirely new features implemented. The currently still in beta MIA Vacation add-on has received the same treatment, and you can find a pretty new cool feature added to it as well. And last but not least, we have the MIA Editor add-on, which should really help out your workflow and is a brand new add-on that's being released today. Okay guys, let's take a look at those with Matt now.
Hey guys, what's up? So before we jump into the specific details of each of the add-ons, the first thing that you guys got to know is that all of the add-ons that we're going to be talking about today have been upgraded to Anki 2.1.20, which is the newest version of Anki at the time of this recording. So make sure that you upgrade your Anki if you haven't already before you download or upgrade any of these add-ons. Okay, so now let's jump into the specific details of each of the add-ons, starting with the MIA Dictionary add-on. So one of the biggest fixes that we made was fixing the Google Image feature, which was previously broken. And we've also made both the Google Image feature and the Forvo feature multi-threaded, which means that when you conduct a search within the dictionary add-on that contains both either Google Images or Forvo and normal internal dictionaries, the definitions from the normal internal dictionaries are going to appear immediately. And then once the Google Images or Forvo search is ready, they're going to appear afterwards. Whereas before, you couldn't see anything, no definitions would pop up until the Forvo and Google Images were ready, and those two take a little bit longer because they have to actually connect to the internet. We've also added a new pronunciation search mode, which allows you to search just the pronunciation portion of dictionary entries with a forward search, so hopefully that will be pretty useful for you guys. And we've also upgraded the dictionary import speed, so now adding new dictionaries to the add-on will be 5 times faster than it used to be. And in addition to these larger upgrades, we also made a host of other bug fixes, such as making the add-on compatible with macOS Catalina, fixing some of the icons that were starting to look pretty ugly after a recent Anki upgrade, and more. So you can now get the newest version of the dictionary add-on for free on Anki Web, so if you're interested, go check that out. So next, let's talk about the MIA Japanese add-on. So one cool new feature that we added is the ability to turn on pop-up pitch graphs on either just the front of the card or just the back of the card if you want to. And what this can allow you to do is create up a kind of pitch accent quizzing system, where if you make it so that pop-up pitch graphs are only showed on the back of the card, then what you can do is when you're on the front of the card, you can use the feature where if you click on any word that's already been generated, you can hear native audio for that word. Watashi. And then you can try to guess what the pitch accent is based on what you heard. And then when you show the back of the card, you can hover over the word, get the pitch accent graph, and see if you were correct or not. So using this, you can help train your pitch accent perception. And also, I think it will just be useful because a lot of people like having those pitch accent graphs, but they don't want to see them on the front of the card because that can make it so that you're not truly testing yourself on whether you know the kanji reading and pitch accent or not. We've also greatly improved the speed at which you can generate furigana and pitch accents, so much so that actually the new version should be close to 20 times faster at generating readings than the original version. And this should especially come in useful when you're doing mass generations. Now you should be able to generate readings for 25,000 cards in less than a minute. Also, the undo functionality related to generating readings has been fixed, so now you can generate readings and use Control-Z and things will go back to before you generated the readings, whereas there was a bug in the previous version where it would just erase all of your text when you tried to do Control-Z. And we've also greatly improved the accuracy of the parser, so now when you do generate readings and pitch accents for text, they should be much more accurate and contain much fewer errors. And next we have the MIA Retirement add-on. So we upgraded the Retirement add-on so that it properly functions on Anki 2.1.20, but besides that, we didn't really change any of the core functionality. So those are the 3 add-ons that we've released publicly so far, and by the time this video comes out, these new updated versions should be up on Anki Web ready to go. So please go and download them, and I hope that they're useful to your learning. So now let's talk a little bit about the MIA Vacation add-on. So the Vacation add-on is still in beta development, and so you have to become a patron over at our Mass Immersion Approach Patreon in order to get access to it. But we've improved it quite a bit since its initial release at the end of 2019. We've made a lot of tweaks and fixed a ton of bugs, and we've also recently upgraded it to Anki 2.1.20, in addition to adding the entirely new feature called the Get Ahead feature. And what this allows you to do is if you've already finished all your reps for a given day, but still have some extra time and motivation left over, then you can use the get ahead feature to do some of the reviews that are going to be due the next day to get ahead. And when you do this, it's going to show you tomorrow's reviews in order of the cards that have the largest interval first, because cards with larger intervals are the least likely to be affected by you reviewing them earlier than Anki originally scheduled them. So if that sounds cool, please consider joining our Patreon. We just want to get some more people testing out this new feature to make sure that everything is working properly before we ship it out and do the public release. But if not, that's okay. Within a few months, it should be all ready and we will make it freely available to the public. And last but not least, we're also announcing the beta release of the MIA Editor add-on. So for this one, let's just jump into a demo and I'll show you guys how it works. So the MIA Editor makes it much more quick and easy to edit cards while you're reviewing. So let's say that we have the sentence card right here and we decide that it's too long and we want to remove part of it. Well, normally you'd have to click on this edit button, wait a second for the little editor window to pop up, make the change, close the window, and then wait a second for the card to reload. But with the MIA Editor, you can simply click on the field that you want to make a change to, and then make it right there in place. So I can just delete the portion that I don't want, click off, and it's just that simple. So we can see that making changes becomes extremely straightforward. And this is going to work for any field that's displayed on the card. So let's say that I also want to remove the redundancy in the definition header right here. I can double click on it. Maybe I decide to keep these frequency score stars and then just remove the rest. And it's really that easy. And you can still use hotkeys like Control B to bold, Control U to underline, and Control I for italicize. And the other cool thing is that it's completely compatible with the MIA Japanese add-on. So if I wanted to add readings for all of the words in this sentence, I just double click on the field to go into editing mode, and then use the hotkey F2, which is the hotkey for generating readings for the whole sentence. And we can see that it generates the MIA Japanese syntax. And then when I click off, it transforms it into furigana and pitch accent coloring. And this is really useful because a lot of times when you're reviewing, you might notice that some of the furigana or some of the pitch accents have an error in them. And so now, if you want to fix those on the fly, you can do that extremely quickly by simply double-clicking and making the change in the syntax right in place. So if hypothetically this was not zehi, but zebi, and it was actually heibon instead of atamadaka, and really it's not, really it was already correct, but just for the sake of example, I can click off and we can see that it became blue, which represents heibon, and it does say zebi instead of zehi. So now making changes to the syntax is extremely quick and easy. And we can also use the word button from the MIA Japanese add-on. So let's say that we wanted to add audio for the word shuking to the card. I would simply double click on the field to go into editing mode, highlight the word that I wanted the audio for, and then click F3, which is the single word audio hotkey. And now I added audio to the card.
shuking.
And so you can see with this, you probably are almost never going to have to actually open up the editor, and you can just do everything in place, which makes it much more quick, easy, and straightforward. So just to show you guys some other features that the add-on has as well. First of all, you can turn off the click to edit at any time by going to MIA, disable double click edit, and now you can double click anywhere you want and it won't go into editing mode. And also, by default, if you have a field that would be displayed on your card, but there's nothing in it, so let's just say we removed all the text from this definition field, then nothing would show. But if you go to MIA and you turn Show Empty Fields on, then empty fields are going to appear as a red box so that if you want to add anything to them, you can double click and add whatever you want without having to actually open up the edit window. And also, the double click to edit works with tags as well if you have a tag field on your card. So right here, this 1T is actually a tag field. So if I double click there, I can add or remove tags. And you'll also notice that when I click away, it's going to actually reorder them in alphabetical order. So that's pretty cool. So the last main feature of the MIA editor is the persistent editor. So normally, if you're going to click this edit button, what would happen is that a little edit window would pop up, and once it does, the actual contents of your card would be hidden. And this is kind of annoying because then you have to actually close the editor once to see the changes reflected and see if they look right. But with the persistent editor, even when you open up the editor, the contents of your original card are going to stay right there, so that whenever you are making changes to your card with the editor, you can see them being reflected in real time. And so the idea is some people, instead of just editing in place, they might prefer to use the editor to edit their cards because maybe they have other add-ons that put other options in the little bar right here and they add special effects to the text or whatever. And what this allows for is for you to basically keep the editor open at all times so that you don't have to constantly open and close it and wait for your cards to load and reload as you're making changes while you review. So we can see that if I go to the next card, we can just keep the editor right here and it will load up the next card, but you can see that the actual contents of the fields are hidden, and this is so that you don't accidentally see the answer to the card that you're trying to recall before you've recalled it yourself. So when we're looking at the front of a card, all the fields are going to be hidden, although simply by clicking on a field, we can remove the cover and see everything and make any changes that we want. And then, when we click back on the original card, it'll be hidden again. But then when we show the back of the card, the cover will automatically be removed and we can continue making changes. So the idea is that if you are someone who prefers to use the actual pop-out editor, then you can just keep it there at all times and you don't have to wait for the editor to constantly open and close and for your cards to reload. So it will streamline the process of editing pretty significantly. And so yeah, that is about it for the MI Editor add-on. We think that it's going to be really useful. Hopefully you guys feel the same way. And if you want to go try it out, then please join our Patreon and help us beta test and improve the add-on. And if not, that's okay too. We hope to have it ready to go for a free public release in a few months, so stay tuned until then. So that's about it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.